have had a decent week thus far. The S&P 500 gained almost 1.7% yesterday. You did have the Nasdaq composite also jumping 2.5%. Even when you take a look at the 30 stock Dow, that added more than 400 points. While the three indexes posted a second consecutive winning session, they ended the day well off their highs. Now, mind you that at one point on Wednesday, the Dow, in fact, was up more than 1,100 points. Now, stocks seem to get a lift on hopes that trade tensions between the US and China would ease. So that is something that was a little bit of a breather coming in earlier this week. Of course, you did have US President Donald Trump saying that he's willing to take a less confrontational approach towards trade talks with Beijing. All three of the major averages are on pace for weekly gains, like I mentioned, with the Nasdaq up 2.5%. Thereabout, S&P 500 up nearly 1.8% and Dow also on pace for a 1.2% advance. In this particular period, of course, you do have the dollar that has also bounced back versus euro, other currencies as well, on the back of these easing trade as well as Fed tensions. And that is something that you've seen fueling the greenback as well, Kanishka.
Well, absolutely. While markets are rising, oil has fallen 2%. This is Amit reports that OPEC Plus could be mulling accelerating output. Now, Brent crude settled down to $1.3, down almost 2% down, that is, at $66 a barrel, while US WTI ended over 2% lower at around $62 level. Now, this downturn comes amid reports that the OPEC Plus would consider accelerating its oil output increases in June. Now, however, these losses were curbed following a report that US President Donald Trump may be cutting tariffs on Chinese imports. Now, the global benchmark, that is Brent, has hit a session high at $68, its highest since April 4th, before the OPEC Plus news came in. Now, as per Reuters, several OPEC Plus members will suggest that the group accelerate oil output increases for a second consecutive month in June. Now, this as there have been recent tensions among OPEC Plus members over the compliance with production quotas. Now, the market also saw some support after data showed that US crude stockpiles rose unexpectedly last week, while both gasoline and distillate inventories fell more than expected. Meanwhile, gold extended its retreat from an all-time high, falling more than 3% as appetite for riskier assets improved after Trump said that he has no plans to fire US Fed's chief and also signaled progress with China on the tariff front. Now, spot gold slipped 3% to $3,281 an ounce after hitting a record high of $3,500 in the previous session. Remember, gold has so far gained more than 26% since the start of 2025.
Moving on, tell you what, let's also take a look at the events that you should be then watching out for from India. Of course, you do